So after a night of sleep, you're feeling very well rested. Well, the two of you who slept here overnight. And you're gathered by the fire, just chatting when you hear the gates open and close and voices shouting, calling out, for whoever's outside to identify themselves. And the sergeant brings in this lone person, and he points you to where these other two are standing by this fire, by the well, and then goes back towards the front gate. Just tells you to wait there. You just tell me, if you want to walk to the fire, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, walk up to them.
All right.
Hi, I'm looking for an older man named Semper. They told me that you might know him.
We do know him. Unfortunately, he's not feeling too well. He's taking the day off.
Is he going to be okay?
He'll be fine. He's just a bit old, so takes longer to recover.
Are you a relative?
No, we were just traveling on the road together. We had stopped by at one town a way back. I went back to get supplies. We kind of were rushing out. We found mutilated cows everywhere, and we met a very mysterious man there, telling us a story about some entity and blue lights, and the guard was not happy with what was going on there, so he rushed us on to Helmut. Halfway there, realizing we never got the supplies, I went back, and Semper continued on to warn the people.
Well, unfortunately, Semper isn't here, but I'm sure we can help you with whatever you need. So what brought you here?
Well, I assume that Semper warned them in Helmut of what we saw in the other town, in Belmouth. I'm just following to see how that went and turned out for him.
He did, in fact, warn everyone, and shared a bit more about his background. We were sent here by the village elder, perhaps, and well, one thing led to another, and I think now we're working for the commander of this fort.
Working for him in what way?
In the way in which, if we want to keep our lives, so we're working with him.
He's been voluntold.
I don't generally like their kind, but when they threaten your life, they do have an awful lot of resources to chase you down, especially when you make your living letting people know all about yourself and the songs you sing. Makes it quite easy for people to find and kill you.
Yeah, tell me about it. Those nobles sure are horrible people.
Have
Just
you been
the ones that
enlisted
think
to
they
try and
own everything. Those are the ones.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Say what you said again, Palladium. Io. No, ISO. ISO, I'll get it.
Oh, he said, especially the ones that think they own everything, including your lives. Not all nobles are bad, though.
Oh, it seems like things get more and more dire with each place I'm passing through. We're just trying to pick up supplies in that first place, and all the cows mutilated. Even one of the townspeople we found just body parts. Uh, Now Semper's taken ill. I hope that's not related. And you're saying you're conscripted into some military. Do you know? Do you know any more about the situation of what's going on?
Well, there's rumors, or perhaps rumors confirmed by the commander, that there's apparently a horde of undead marching through Rockwall as we speak.
What's left of it?
This situation is real dire.
Even without the threat of lives, I'm not exactly sure where we would be going at this point anyway, given the situations all around us.
I think we might as well find out what the commander wants from us.
I agree. Hello, I'm sorry I did not introduce myself. I'm ISO. What might your name be?
My name is Jothier.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully, well, are you looking to sign up?
The commander might not give him much choice. By the way, my name is Nayana, in case you were interested.
It's a pleasure to meet you both. I just wish it was under different circumstances. This doesn't sound ideal.
I'm just glad that we found a companion that seems somewhat normal.
Yes. I have to agree with that.
You three, let's go. You hear somebody call from behind you.
Oh, look now. You're one of the trusted already. See how easy that was?
I guess I'm part of the band now.
Standards aren't that high.
Today, let's go. Don't keep Lord Gannison waiting.
Real prickly today, these guys.
He points you over to the campfire. And you can see Lord Gannison's got some maps and scrolls out on the table, and he's talking to the commander at the fire and then the other man next to him at the table. And he looks up. And first he looks at Jothier and says, "Who are you?"
My name is Jothier, sir.
"And what do you do? What is your trade?"
I was originally traveling as a merchant till I joined up with a fellow traveler on the road. By trade, I've worked as a locksmith.
He just nods quietly for a minute. Walks out from behind the table. Has a scroll in one hand. Says, "What do you know of the circle the goblins were talking about? Any of you?"
Nothing really. They didn't say anything specific about it, and I've not heard of it before.
Just that they said the humans bring the circle, they destroy land. We follow both groups. Here in other ways, men that came from the circle, men like, well, they said you, Lord Gannison, came from some circle. Circle brought undead.
Quite the memory you have.
Well, yes. I suppose it's a gift and a curse all the same.
He holds up the scroll. I've just gotten a report that there was an armored man in a town nearby. Set fire to the entire town. Buildings, fences, people, everything. The only description other than armor was red. He had red on. Do any of you know anything about a red knight?
ISO shakes his head no.
Should we?
I'm asking you.
Well, I've never seen a red knight, so I don't know it.
And you, locksmith?
I just shake my head no.
Alright, he balls the parchment up in his hand and throws it in the fire. Keep an eye out for any knights with red. In the meantime, I need you to set out right away. I'm going to send you south to the crossroads with the grinding wastes. There should be a caravan from Anjit waiting there. They have something for a member of our conclave. And since our conclave is no more, we're going to accept it for them.
What kind of something are we talking about?
I don't know. There wasn't very many details. Apparently the arrangement was mostly made in person. Whatever it is, it's going to take an entire wagon to transport. So you'll likely be returning with the wagon. Well. He stops himself and grabs a messenger bag off the table. Holds it up and takes a few steps forward for somebody to take the bag. You actually won't be coming back here, at least not at first.
ISO will take the bag.
Okay. You're going to travel along the coast to avoid the army of undead at Ruckwald. Once you get to the crossroads, you're going to take the cart with whatever the item is. You're going to take it directly to Doongard Keep. There's a map inside that bag. You'll find your way to Doongard from the crossroads. You must have the general there end the hostilities. Period. No exception. They must end immediately. There's a message in there. You will take the message and place it directly into his hand and tell him it is from Lord Gannison. Do you understand? This is very important.
What are the hostilities?
They're laying siege to the Doongard Crusaders, or whoever they are.
We'll deliver the message.
Make sure you put that scroll into his hand. Nobody else gives him that scroll but you.
What was this person's name?
You just said the general.
Oh, it was as generic as I heard. Okay, I thought I missed the name.
Yes. Nope. He just said the general.
Pardon me, sir, Lord, but who is this general's name? In case so that we might give it to the right person.
Ooh, 1 sec. General Rasan is his name.
We'll make sure to deliver the card and the letter to the general.
And one more task I have for you. When you get to the crossroads, you may come across some useful individuals in the cages there. There are 2 scrolls in that bag that are official pardons that are only valid on Rookwall soil, of course. But if you find anyone that might be useful given our current dire situation, give them one of those scrolls and send them here.
They're in the cages?
Perhaps. I don't know who Exeter may or may not have dealt with recently. The crossroads is where she sends people to make an example. These are likely to be some of the worst. But if you put that in their hand, they'll either be able to come here, work for me, or they can rot in the cages.
Who is Exeter?
She rules the grinding wastes. She's our ally.
Well, if these people are in cages, to what extent can we actually trust them?
You just put that scroll in their hand. Make sure they read it. If they tell you to open the cage after they read it, they shouldn't give you a problem. And if they do, don't worry. I'll make sure that you are avenged.
That's real comforting.
He nods in a very serious manner. He legitimately thinks your comment is serious. You're welcome, he says.
I just roll my eyes.
Are there any questions?
Go to the crossroads, link up with the cart, take the bag, find anyone useful, hand out scrolls, try not to die. Go with the cart, meet up with the general, Rasan, give him the cart, hand him the scroll personally.
Yes, and stay to the coast. What little information I do have says they haven't reached the shore yet. So you should be safe traveling along the coast. It'll take you longer, but it'll be safer.
Well then, whereabouts, he kind of looks around, Ice looks around, wondering where the others are that were with him before. Maybe they were too injured.
Were you asking the question, or?
He's like looking around as if looking for other people.
Oh. Was there a question in there?
I was just wondering about the priest that came with us, as well as Loxan, the bounty hunter that likes to talk to himself.
I don't know. Sergeant? He looks across at the man next to you who called you up here. The crazy one went outside to talk to Adam? He sounds a little confused. But he hasn't come back in. The old man's still sleeping. Last I checked. I'm not his nurse.
Bumped his head, went to bed, and didn't get up in the morning, I see. Well, he looks over at Niana. Do you suggest we hit the road without him? Or take him with?
You'll be leaving without them. We'll send them along, if they return.
I did not intend to wait for Loxan, if that's what you imply. I'm
He's a little
certain
more mobile. He likely will find us.
I hope he doesn't, but that's probably idle hope.
All right then.
I could carry the
Lord-
scrolls. After all, they're in cages. They're missing a key. I could certainly help with that, with my locksmith talents.
Good idea. We'll fish all that out after we leave. No sense doing it here.
Yes. Good idea. Move along.
Lord Ganniston, how long is the trip to the crossroads and to the general's location? Would you say?
It depends if you find horses along the way.
I don't suppose one of these scrolls lets us acquire one. Kind of puts in quotes.
He nods his head. I've put a scroll in there for you to acquire
Lovely.
horses. But the debt will come to me. So I expect you to return here with the horse. They are my horses, not yours. Is that understood? Looks between the three of you.
I nod.
Jothier nods too.
Of course, Lord Ganniston. Should we see a quartermaster here for provisions and such for the journey?
They've already been prepared for you. He nods to the
Excellent.
sergeant. He inclines his head towards you. The sergeant has a bag he just sort of foists over to Nyana and dumps to her whether she's ready for it or not.
I fumble a bit with the bag, but I manage to hold on to it.
There's enough there for a week. That's all we can spare. And of course, you'll have to stretch it if your friends wake up or show up. Now, if that'll be all, this is very time sensitive. The caravan from Anjet has likely already been waiting. I don't know how much longer they'll wait. And
We'll
whatever,
be on our way. Right
and
away.
whatever they bring you, leave it. Don't open it.
I think it's about time we head off. It's a long journey.
Good luck.
Thank you.
He walks back behind the table and goes back to talking, pointing at the map and reading through scrolls. After several days of walking, the grass finally disappears and gives way to the sand. And that's when you can tell you've arrived in the grinding wastes. Ahead look to be the crossroads indicated on your map. And you can see Actually, let's see what you can see. Observation check, real quick, from everybody. That's going to be observation check. Observation test. Presence, right? Yeah. Wolf, you, Joe Theory, you roll a d20 and add your presence stat.
Alright,
Just
bad news. I got a perfect roll again. On my
I got the
first
same roll I did last time as well. That's funny. For present. So he's got his face like, scribbling in a piece of paper.
Wow.
I rolled a 9. I get a +0.
But you rolled a 9?
Yeah.
Wow. So, Joe Thier and ISO see nothing. Just for reference, Joe Thier, a 12 is generally the difficulty that you want to hit. So, that's
So I
what
need
you're
better
looking for.
dice.
Yes, you need better dice. Get it. Log into a different dice roller. Screw that one. It sucks. But Nyan, on the other hand, Eagle Eyes over here. She sees. You see the ruins up ahead. You see a man. You assume it's a man with a torch. You can see a little bit of movement outside the ruins to the right. And in the very far back, you see, again, what looks like another man on horseback. You would gauge from the height of the torch. But you definitely see just a lone person on a horse way off back into the right in the middle of the darkness, clearly outside the ruins area, crossroads area. And ahead, of course, you also see some horses outside the ruins, which you would assume were probably also part of the Anjet, what do you call it, convoy, caravan. Otherwise, the wind's just barely blowing. It's kind of a quiet night.
We've arrived, it seems. There's the caravan.
There seem to be plenty of people around. Let's be on our guard.
I just wanted to bring it up. I was thinking about it as we were walking here. He mentioned something about a red knight. I didn't follow that too much, but I did meet a knight back in Belmouth, and I don't know if the two are connected.
That's intriguing. Well, there's a rider off to the right. From this distance I can't tell much about it, but he's not in the crossroads, so might keep an eye on him.
A rider where? He looks the wrong direction.
It's off to the right from the crossroads. You might see a little speck of light. He's carrying a torch, it seems.
You mean you're right?
Yes, my right, yes. Maybe you'll see him when we get closer.
All right. As you approach, you can hear what seems to be that man outside on the right just call to the other guys. Well, makes a call. You don't know who he's calling to. Doesn't sound like he's talking to you. Are you heading for him? Is that where you're veering off to the right? To Nyana's
Yes.
right, not to
Sure.
Iso's right? All right. He goes, stop right there.
Hail the
Stop.
camp.
What did you say?
Hail the camp. Hail the camp.
Who goes there?
Some weary travelers looking for people to meet in this caravan.
Where are you from?
Fort Severa.
Look, I'm not from here. What kingdom are you from?
We came from Rookwold. We are here in name of the Unbroken Conclave.
Finally! Where have you been? He hops down off the steps. Get over here and take this thing so we can get out of here. He seems extremely annoyed. Do you know how long we've been waiting?
Well, I don't think we care, to be frank. Where's this thing?
It's up here. Let's see your papers first. You should have something.
Just shuffles around his bag and pulls out the something.
All right. Pulls out the appropriate scroll. All the
Like,
other
there's like piles of them in here, apparently.
yes,
So,
yes, there are actually lots of scrolls. Scroll for every occasion. But yeah, you see the Anjet guards just sort of start to gather around, hop off the ruins as he starts reading. You see some of them. Well, you hear some of them give little cheers and head over to presumably start packing up. Lord Gannison, we were supposed to be giving this to someone from the Conclave.
Lord
Let's-
Kennison acts as a representative of the Conclave. As
yes, see, his
This
seal is right
trouble
there
up
on the
north.
paper.
Shrugs his shoulders, rolls up the scroll. Good enough for me. We're getting out of here. Been harassed this entire time. I'm just ready to leave. Good luck with
Rest I
that.
do.
That idiot fool out there. He points towards where the rider is. Where you
Who's
saw the
that
rider.
fool?
I don't know. He's harmless. He's been... Sorry, I cut myself off. He's been following us practically since we left Anjet. He says the box belongs to, I don't know, to him, to his people. I don't know. He's harmless,
The
though.
box?
He
You mean-
motions to the, I won't... Oh, there it goes. Keep hitting the wrong button, that's why. He motions over to the horse with the cart at the end. It's your problem now. That box is what you're here to pick up. Horse is yours, too.
What about these other horses?
They're ours.
Oh, don't suppose you would be willing to double up if I handed you another scroll where you can trade it in for some gold, would you?
I want to get home as soon as possible.
Oh, even if you could make more gold than this horse is worth double over?
I haven't seen my bed in 2 weeks. I don't think you have enough gold.
We don't, but Lord Kennison might pay richly.
That's what this scroll says, but, well, have an enchanting journey. It's a pleasure doing business with you, gentlemen.
As you're finishing talking, you can hear some hooves approaching. And the engine guards start to ride out, and you just hear a couple of them groaning. Oh, not again. And they start to encircle. Whoops, the man on horseback. Oop. Never mind, there's no extra guard. Look, you fool, this is their problem now. Don't bother them, okay? The man on the horse doesn't say anything. He just looks at the Anjet guards and then looks at the cart, then looks at you.
Baltimore's in the waiting room, too.
And, yeah. As they're talking, you hear another set of footsteps approach behind you, a very out of breath. Loxon has arrived. You probably ran to catch up.
Yo, you left me behind.
Perhaps you would have been on time if you hadn't gone out on your date with Adam.
It wasn't a date. It was a talking to. There's a difference.
Alright, there he is. You know, one of the Anjet guards speaks up. You know, we can just kill him for you if you want. He's just going to bother you all the way back to Rookwald. And you're not all going to fit on that cart. It's going to take you a while. You're going to have to deal with this the entire way. He's been following us for days. He's been here this entire time.
Is he alone?
Best we can tell. We haven't seen anybody but him and those two idiots over there. He motions towards the end of the road there. You can see some men in cages.
Wait, what's going on? Wait, what's going on here?
We are dealing with a odd fellow here that's disturbing our precious cargo. But personally, I'd say we let him live. I'd rather not have any unnecessary bloodshed.
CW, I can't really tell from the figures, but is this, when Jothier looks at him, is this someone that he would recognize?
No.
Okay, not from the first episode.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Move all up, and I can get a better shot in there. Move all up there together. There you go. Yeah, no, it looks different. Nobody recognizes him. He does not look familiar. His horse looks pretty decently geared out. His armor looks pretty nice. I mean, it's nothing fancy or anything like that, but he looks like he's got some fairly decent gear. And he's just looking between the guards, the cart, and your group now, and finally he speaks up. You have taken possession of this. And he uses his torch to motion towards the cart.
We have in name of Lord Kennison and the Unbroken Conclave.
All right, one of the guards just rides up to him and kicks him off of his horse, and he just sort of falls to the ground.
Oh, dang.
Is there supposed to be someone on the horse? Because there's no one there for me.
Yeah, he just got kicked off. I just dismounted him.
No. Like even before then.
Are you talking about the horse with the cart?
Oh no. Oh, I thought you meant the one with the armor on it.
The one with the armor on
He
it, there's
does.
nobody on it. There is now not
now,
anybody
but-
on it.
But there's a person standing next to him, and can you not see that person?
No, I don't see him.
Alright, you're missing DLC then. We'll handle it later. You could just look on the stream. So the man sort of flails about for his torch while he's on the ground. Stands up, the guards just sort of laughing at him. Straightens his armor back and looks back at your group here. Says that chest belongs to me and to my people. I'd like you to give it to me now, please.
And you are?
Unfortunately, we are unable to comply with that request, as we've
It's fine.
promised to take the chest elsewhere.
Okay, I'm missing a lot of DLC here. Oh my god.
Yeah, go get.
What's in this chest that's so important to your people?
It's a private matter, but it belongs to us.
Well, we can't really be of any service if you don't tell us what it is.
Yeah, you see, they tell us that whatever's in this box is going to help stop a battle, a war. So that seems more important to us at the moment.
The man next to him tries to kick him with his foot, but he manages to dodge this time. Says, "Don't listen to him. That chest has been in our king's hold for months, at least."
It's about time you were on your way. We can handle it from here.
The man who's got knocked off his horseback pulls out his sword, and he's now looking at the Anjet guards. The Anjet guards all start pulling out their weapons.
If this is really important to your people, perhaps you'd like to help us escort it, and then wherever we deliver it, you can make your case to them.
It's your choice, really. Help follow us, or die.
You might like some blood Loxan, but I've no interest in watching this man die for silly reasons.
I didn't say I was gonna kill him. I just warned him.
That's called a threat.
Maybe to you, but not to me. See, I don't threat people. I kill them without anything, without saying anything. That's
The
the way
Anjet
I do
guards
things.
The NJ guards are starting to dismount while you're talking. They send their horses back a little bit.
Please, could you all just lower your swords? This is getting out of hand.
Yes, you had weeks, like you said, to be brutalizing and killing this man, but why wait? Why do it now?
Anthony, I recall you being very eager to get home.
The Lone Rider just sort of sends his horse away as the men start to gather and surround him. This one's had it a long time coming. We'll do you this favor for free.
You are not doing me any favor by committing unnecessary violence.
You say that until you've spent a week with this man hounding you for that. He's not going to stop. He's just going to follow you too, aren't you?
Well, I don't mind him following.
We did just invite him to help us escort this.
Yeah, so if he decides to follow us, he's now in our hands and out of yours. That sounds like a good deal to me.
You can take your card and leave. We're fine here.
Truly, I insist that you just leave and let the man go. We can handle with it. And I can assure you that we will not hand him the chest without express permission of our superiors.
What you do with the chest is your business now. Our mission was to just deliver it. Our mission's complete.
Yes, your mission is complete, so it's about time you went home. This man's no longer your problem.
I'll let him with the cart.
You can't put the cart before the horse, Palladius. Come on.
I tried. Actually, I can't click the horse is the problem.
Oh, hang on. I think I might have that. Oh, you should be able to. It's not. Yeah, it's not. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't control it.
Okay.
I was trying to drive the cart away. Just start moving it. Can you move this cart down the way, like to that torch back there, or whatever?
There you go.
Like,
Try now. I just gave it to you, the horse. There you go. You just hold it right there for a sec. Just hold it right there.
yeah, just gonna stop here. Moving slowly, not like that fast, right? Moving slow. I didn't change the speed on it or nothing.
See, the Anjit guards are starting to laugh and,
Alright,
menacingly just hold their axes up.
as they're arguing, Lawson notices that the two cages with people in them.
Okay.
Hey, who are those two in the cages over there?
We'll deal with those in a moment, Loxan. You missed the commander's briefing. So, we'll inform you sooner, rather than later. Let's handle this situation first.
Fine. But I want to know everything.
Finally, the guards just seem to get bored, and one of them swings, and he just absolutely gets gutted by the man in the middle, and each one in turn, every time they come at him, he just cuts them all down. I mean, it happens probably in less than a minute.
How in the hell? You go pretty fast. Very fast.
Those
Like super
soldiers
fast.
Could have maybe listened to me.
He
Oh, yeah.
whistles for his horse. And the horse just comes running up. The box does belong to us, he says, putting his sword away.
Again, I
Oops.
don't even know who you are.
He gets up on his horse. And who are you taking the box to?
We're taking this box to Doomguard. To hand it to a man named General Roussan, who's apparently laying siege to Doomguard. So if you do want what's in this chest, I'd suggest you seek him out.
And where are you from?
We came from Rookwood, from the north.
Whoever you give that chest to, make sure you remind them that I did ask nicely first.
Can we have a name?
I'm still waiting for that, by the way.
Gensei.
Gensei?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Gensei. My name's Nayana. And, well, I hope you'll get your chest, truly, but it's not ours to give it to you.
Yes, it's mine.
We'll see what General Roussan decides.
Farewell, Nayana of Rookwald and company.
Name's Lotson.
Just nods his head.
Also, I just noticed that the horse with the car is named is named ISO.
Yeah, it's just, don't worry about it. All right, he just rides off the way you came.
Right, now that's over with. Can someone please tell me why we're here?
Well, as you might have picked up, we are here to take this chest to General Roussan, who's besieging Doomguard, and we are there to bring him a scroll.
Uh-huh.
And we are going there to end his hostilities.
And what's with the two people in the cages I can see from the far?
Well,
Actually,
apparently-
we'll see how well you can see them first. Make a presence check. Presence test.
While they're talking about this, Jothir would start checking the bodies. If anyone asks, he's checking to see who's still alive, but he's rummaging through their things.
Okay.
Well, I was screwed.
Yeah, you don't. You just see some people in there. You don't know that they're men, women, alive, or skeletons. Let me get the loot table for you there, Jothir.
May I loot some bodies as well?
How are you handling it in character? Is everybody concerned for the well-being of each one, and like what's happening? Jothir's walking over and checking
Actually,
the bodies. So let's start like that. What's everybody else doing?
Lobson until I see how they died.
ISO, after he's parked this cart, like by the time he said whoa, they were all cut down. So he comes back over and kind of, well, that didn't end well, did it? Do any of them live? And meanwhile, he's like already checking out this blonde horse to the side.
The horse, yeah.
Lobson until I see how they die, because we couldn't see anything.
You go up and they have all been cut down by sword. You can tell that. That's pretty apparent.
Why? Do any of them have bolts with them? Because I need some bolts.
No,
just
none of them
missed.
look like they have any crossbows or anything.
I'm just checking their pockets for any valuables.
Not even trying to hide it.
Nope.
Okay. I'm trying to look for the table. I don't know where it's at now.
ISO will round up the horses. He's got a background in some of this stuff.
Horseplay.
Hey, Adam! Keep an eye out, will ya?
Could have sworn there was like a random loot table we used already once.
Yes, we used it last time,
Okay.
so it does exist.
All right. So you're just checking the corpses. That's it. Where's this? What did I do with the?
ISO will check the saddlebags while he's rounding up the horses. I can't click them to round them up, but I know we can get to that later.
Okay. They all only have pretty much food. Is about all they have on them.
Well, I've got that. I've got some supplies already from the camp, so don't think I'll be taking any.
Oh, here it is. Corpse plundering.
Yeah, I think he was talking to me, Ultra. There's feed on the horses in the saddlebags.
Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah, I was talking to you. Okay.
That makes more sense.
So all of
Yeah,
you.
guys just have biscuits in their pockets, and that's it.
Okay, roll. Wait, D. Okay. It says roll D66, which I imagine is what? 2D6, right? One is tens, one is. Yeah. So roll 2D6, and your first number is going to be your 10 slot.
So the table goes from 11 to 99 or so? 66.
11 to 66, yes.
Yeah. I got 63. 6
Okay.
and 3.
Okay. You get 63 silver.
63.
Silver.
Yes.
I rolled 5 and 2, so that's 52.
Yep.
That's 13 silver.
No. You have 63 silver. You
I
rolled
have
63. You get 63 silver.
Yes, I rolled 63, which was 13. Or do I not roll?
No, that a 6 and a 3 is 63. You get 63 silver.
Oh, I thought you said 63.
No. Sorry. No, you get 63 silver. 63 silver. That's what you find. 52 is you find a bottle labeled poison.
Is it like a symbol, or is it actually written words?
We'll let Jothier decide. But you can tell, Jothier, it's poison. And what did you? Oh, you're going for the horses, okay? All right. Now, while I have the horse thing out, who wants what horse?
I'll take that black and white one.
I'll take this one here.
I select this blonde one. He'll probably end up roping these horses to the cart anyway. The extra.
Okay.
If they have feed bags or anything like that, he'll set them all up so they can be eating and distracted while they, dole them out and everything, and hook them up as needed.
Like, you have the extra horses now, too. But everybody should have. Actually, no, Nyana, which horse did you want? You didn't tell me which one.
I'll
one?
take this one.
Okay, it's yours now.
Also, I imagine that all these guards had some kind of armor and weapons. The armor might be destroyed from that guy slashing them up, but
Yep, our armor weapons were no longer useful. The only useful thing you found was that poison bottle. Now, while you're checking out your horse, Nyana, since you got a really good roll, you notice there's two men in the cages. One of them looks like one of the most attractive men you have ever seen. I mean, he is one of the great beauties of the land. And he's just sitting in that cage over there on the left.
Oh boy, here we go.
and that's with all of us here too.
Yes. Yes. No, this man is exceptionally good looking. The other man in armor, he looks like a freaking giant. He is huge. And he's just sitting in the other cage off to the right. You see the remains of another human. You don't know if it's a man or a woman, just sort of resting in there. Look like the bones have been picked clean by birds. Maybe small mammals coming through the desert, insects, bugs, whatever. And you see an odd yellow light just in that particular area. Doesn't seem to be any fire or any other light source, but it does seem to be lit somehow by other than fire.
I said,
Yeah.
could you bring the scrolls so we can talk with these prisoners?
He hollers back, I gave them to Jothier.
Joffer?
Oh, so that's your name.
Slaughters your name.
So that's your name. Joffier.
Pleasure to meet you. Who are you?
Name's Lawson. Who are you and where'd you come from? Where'd you come from, Kai? Now, Joel.
That's what I thought of too.
I was traveling with a merchant group. Came in through, left the group and traveled over to Belmuth once I met Semper and tried to reconnect with him here and met these guys.
So you know the old man, eh?
I do.
Is he as grumpy as he is with you?
He was fine with me. We didn't really have too much time to have a whole lot of conversation. When we got to Belmuth, encountered a very odd situation.
Joffer, do you mind bringing the scrolls before Loxon takes up all your time?
Jothier would dig through his pack and pull out the scrolls and bring them up.
Pie pooper.
All right.
So I'll take the scrolls. And I'll walk up to the
It's a shame
handsome-looking man.
all of those bodies in the cages, they're all dead.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 alive.
I haven't seen. Wait, were they alive?
He squints really hard with his shitty roll.
Perhaps
Yeah,
you ought to get closer so you can see.
From here, I saw that man on the left. He's one of the ugliest men you have ever seen.
Oh, that man is hideous.
He is quite hideous from here with that roll.
Can I see him?
No. Yeah, you can see something. You can't tell if they're dead or alive, though.
He looks dead at me. Are you okay, Ninia?
He looks like
Ninia?
he has a pork chop for a
Ninia,
face.
you know what I meant.
I don't know what you meant. Who's Ninia?
Niana, there you go, Niana. Have you now?
Very. I think you both fell on the back of your head. It's, quite a handsome young man.
No. His face looks like a pork chop.
He looks like he looks like he's had feces thrown at him. How can you like a face like that?
Perhaps the eyes of a woman are just more keen in seeing beauty.
Yeah, if he were drunk.
Now, as you get closer, it is apparent the man on the left is truly one of the great beauties of the land. As you approach, he sort of looks up. He's looking down, face covered by his cowl there, and as he looks up, you can see his face. You can see that great, amazing, beautiful face. He says, you wouldn't be here to rescue me from this cage, would you?
Well, that would depend. We were sent here by a man named Lord Gennison. And he said that the people in these cages might want rescue. But before we do so, I need to hand you this scroll. And I hand him the appropriate scroll.
Okay. Takes the scroll, breaks the seal, and starts unraveling it. You hear the man stir in the other cage, the large man. He's just sort of says, not even in your really direction, he just sort of says out loud, you can't trust him. Don't believe
And
what he
why is that?
says.
Who says that?
The large man in the cage to your right.
And why is that?
He'll just end up stabbing you in the back. Maybe literally.
Well, let me just put it like this. This offer extends to you both. And I walk over to him and hand him a scroll as well.
He holds his hand up, refusing the scroll. The man, the first man reading the scroll says, he's reading the scroll. I mean, you can tell he's sort of absently responding. He's not really focused. He's like, well, it's your fault we're in here to begin with. Not mine.
That's a good question. How did you two end up in here anyway?
The man on the left puts down the scroll and looks at you. Looks straight at you and points his hand at the other man. He started a fight in Bone Drift. You're not supposed to fight in Bone Drift. You're not supposed to say anybody's name in Bone Drift. And he did both.
Any reason for the fight? I stare at the guy on the right.
He dusts off his legs and stands up and leans forward in the cage. He had me banished from my home. And do you know who
Oh,
he gave it
so-
to? He gave it to goblins.
Your home? Where you from?
Where the goblins live now, apparently.
The name, man, the name!
I don't know what they call it now. I don't speak goblin. Do you?
And what do you call it then?
Home.
And what was home once, and what did you used to call home?
Doesn't matter now. Because I can't go back, even if the goblins didn't have it. I've been banished from Anjet, Diothar, thanks to him.
And why were you banished?
The man in the first cage just audibly rolls his eyes. We were trying to save the kingdom of Anjet. It was part of a deal. The goblins wanted him banished. We needed their help. Sacrifices had to be made.
Why did the goblins want him banished?
He shrugs. I don't know. They just asked for it. Seemed a simple enough thing.
And this
And-
fight in Bone Drift.
I didn't hear what you
How
said.
come you both ended up in these cages and not just one of you?
The tall man
You,
gets quiet and just indignant. The other man says, I was foolish enough to help him with the fight.
so you, by yourself, decided to agree to a deal with goblins.
I wasn't
That
by
sounds
myself.
stupid.
I had help with others. There was others who helped make the decision too. It wasn't just me. We all agreed.
If there are others, why are you the only one in the cage?
I so like side eyes Niana at the mention of making deals with goblins.
What was your question? Sorry, Loxon.
So why is it only you two in the cage, not with your other people?
Well, I
I'm
don't know where they
assuming
went.
The other people weren't in Bone Drift with them.
You're saying? Man in white?
You can call me Alexander.
Fine, Alexander. You don't know where they went? What do
We
you mean?
parted ways with the wizard in Anjet. Odin and I traveled to Bone Drift together, and after that we got separated.
So your name is Odin? I take it?
No, Odin isn't here. She is... I don't know what she is.
You know what? Wait. You don't know what? You don't know what she is? You mean where she is, right?
Well, I don't know what to say she is. Necromancer, warlock, cultist. I don't know what you would call her exactly. She's human, if that helps.
Doesn't happen to mention the old gods by any chance, does she?
She might know something about old gods. We didn't really talk very deeply about whatever it is that she is.
I'm sorry, but I didn't get your name. What is it?
Which one are you speaking to? Sorry.
The giant man in the cage I'm in front of.
I didn't say. But my name's Corellius.
And you, and you little guy in the white? Oh my god, you're dead, never mind.
What?
Well, I asked this guy, although his name,
Oh,
but
oh,
I just realised he's dead. Never mind.
right. Okay.
So, anyone get this creepy feeling about this statue here? Or is it just me?
It's a creepy statue for sure.
I think that those her phalanges there are set so that you can back into her and she will scratch your head. You should try it. I
Good
bet
idea.
this
Let's try it.
statue gives the best of massages.
Good idea, let's try it.
You're going to try it?
Yeah, why not? Forget.
Okay.
I mean, lots in.
It's the first time a woman has combed her fingers through your hair.
Alexander wraps the scroll back up and, leans out, kind of waving it at you, Nyana, Jothier, whoever's over here. I'll accept these terms. You can let me out now.
All right. I'll take the scroll. Jofir, could you open the cage?
All right, Jothier would walk over to inspect the lock.
Okay. Let's see. I guess presence is like the default stat. I don't think it would be strength or agility. Or
Can
toughness.
you? Yeah, it'd pretty agility to pick a lock, I would think. Do you,
Agility?
Yeah, oh yeah, this dexterity thing. You got to pop the tumblers and stuff. Do you Is there assisting in this game? I don't think I remember seeing that in the little cliff notes, at least.
Oops. No, just did a search. The word assist doesn't even appear in the book. So, nope. You can still hold the torch up for him. He'll probably need some help.
Yeah, let me hold this for you.
So this is a D20, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, as, wait, hold on. As, Jofir? Is that saying your name, Jofir?
Yes.
Alright, I saw Jofir's, picking the lock. Hang on a second, I noticed I just realized you mentioned your and owner's name. But without a wizard, you seem to not know his name.
I've been trying hard to forget him.
Why is that?
Well, people grow apart. Different goals in life. Is the lock open yet? Is there anything I can do to help you? Jothier, he's turned his attention to you. Keeping his hands up. Out of your
I rolled
way, trying to
14, and
trying to
my
step back.
difficulty reduces it by 2.
Okay. Yeah, you pick that lock, no problem.
Sweet.
And Alexander hops out, has a spring in his step. And he just sort of rolls his shoulders, stretches and everything as he's finally out of that cage. And he takes the scroll you gave him and tucks it away somewhere inside his cape. Any chance you could spare some food for me for the trip? Maybe a horse you might have extra? He inclines his head towards the group of horses you have over there.
If there's one left, you're free to take it. And I might
Yes, the
be
one,
able
the one
to...
named NPC over there is not too friendly for me, so maybe you'd have better luck.
And I can spare you a day's food. It should only be a day's ride to the camp anyways.
What about your friend here?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Because,
refused
like it or
to
not,
offer-
mate, if you refuse, you're staying in there for life.
The
So if
large
you wanna-
man...
So,
Go ahead.
so if you want out now, you better accept.
The large man rears back, gives about 2 good kicks, and the cage flies open. And he just steps out.
Oh, okay.
I don't need your help.
That's how you seize life, Loxan. Did you see that? Take notes.
I don't know how to write.
If you could get your way out of that cage so easily, why bother doing it so late?
I wanted to watch him die. So I'll actually, you know what? I'll follow him for you. I'll take one of your horses, and I'll make sure he gets to, where are we going? Where is he going? He's looking at you,
Dunekeep.
Loxon. You're sending him to Dunegard.
Okay, so,
No.
Doomgod. Wait, that?
No,
Wait.
we're not sending him to Doomguard.
That's what you said. I counter. That's what you said.
No, that's not what he said. He
Is that
said
what
the
he
right
said?
thing.
What?
Fort Severall.
Fort Severall.
That place. All right, that place.
All right, he walks past Loxon towards the horses and starts scavenging around on the bodies of the men on the ground.
All right, guys, I'm sorry, but does anyone else feel weird about the statue?
Well, I might as well take a closer look.
I mean, look at it. It's just right in the middle of this deserted place.
It's a ruin. When it was not a ruin, it was probably an important building here that it was marking in front of the people.
I mean, apparently this is where Exeter takes her prisoners.
Now the statue for you can tell this, Nyana, looks different from the building behind it. The statue looks old, but not as old as the ruins behind it. Different kind of rock. So it looks like it was brought here at a different time. But it's been here for a long time.
The building and the statue don't seem to be from the same era.
So we're talking newer or older?
Which one was older again? The statue?
The ruins look much older.
Ruins. The ruins seem older than the statue. This statue must have been placed later. Is there anything I recognized in the statue?
I was trying to think of if you've seen it before. No, I don't think so.
So
But I can
someone just put a statue of some hooded figure. Wait, wait, hold on. Can I tell it's a woman or a man?
So,
No,
well, let me walk that back. If you're from Rookwald, you know about the Rookwald Shrine, which has all of the sort of worshipped gods and everything there, and this is like one of those statues. So
Yeah, but I belong nowhere, so I have no idea where
well,
this is.
yeah. If you're not from Rookwald, you wouldn't know about it. But if you're from Rookwald, then you know about the shrine, and if you've ever visited it, you've seen this.
So, so Nyana, you sound familiar with this. Care to give me a quick do-over on this thing, please?
Well, I really don't know much about this particular statue. I know it exists in places in Rookwold, probably. But other than that, all I know is from Lord Kennison is that this is a place where Exeter, the ruler of the Grinding Wastes, takes her prisoners. And I can only assume that this statue has something to do with the Grinding Wastes.
You can hear the two men behind you just sort of start arguing with each other about stupid things while they're getting their horses ready and picking the bodies clean.
Hey! Don't make me set Adam on you! So stop fighting!
They both look at you and don't say anything and continue cleaning. Picking, looting I should say, not cleaning, looting.
Didn't we take everything?
Maybe they find more useful things than we have experience to look at and take, I guess.
I think we've done everything here that needed to be done.
Now that one man, he didn't accept the scroll, did he?
He did
No,
not.
he just sort of vowed to go there. So, you one extra for the road?
Lord Kennison did not mention anything about someone breaking out.
You know what I say though? Strength in numbers.
Well, they'll travel together, and they won't be any trouble to us.
Actually, before we go, real quick, so, so Game Mother,
No, it's Game Master. We're not playing Alien anymore.
Game Daddy, fine.
No, do not call me daddy.
Yes, Game Daddy.
You can. I tell you what. You can call me Game Daddy at your own peril because your difficulties are going to be a lot harder than everybody else's if you continue with Game Daddy.
Your
Fine.
daddy rating is going up.
Yeah, GM is just fine.
GM, fine, GM. Can
You
Lawson
don't wanna be
tell? So is
Going by
this?
GD.
So is this cage closed or open?
It's open. There's nobody in it.
Has it been broken open or picked open, or is it just like
well,
open?
You couldn't tell if it was picked open, but it's just open, just like it's waiting for somebody. The cage with the skeleton in it, the body in it, is locked and closed. It doesn't look like people come here much. Well, you missed that part of I can't tell you that part. You missed that part of the briefing. It doesn't look like people come here very often. This doesn't look like they just bring criminals by here every day and stick them in the cages.
There's nothing identifying on this skeleton still left on him or anything, I suppose, is there? Looks like it's been picked clean.
Yeah.
Oh, good journey, whoever you are.
I think we ought to move. This chest is not gonna take itself to Doomguard.
Yeah, let's get out of here now. This is creepy.
Jother would walk over to Niana and ask for the scroll back, just in case Lord Gannison asked him about delivering it, since he did say that he would carry it.
Okay.
I'll hand back the scrolls.
And you guys are heading to Doomguard now with the chest, right?
Yes.
On horseback.
Yes.
By and via cart. Who's going to drive the cart?
You probably.
That's fine.
Okay. Off to Doomguard it is. You follow the map from the crossroads to Doomguard with no trouble. And you've come upon Doomguard now under siege. You can see all kinds of fires and lights and just activity everywhere. And you are doing what?
Looking for which of these spotlight fires appears to have the largest entourage, where maybe a general might be
Okay.
barking orders.
All right. Let's observation checks. Let's see if your streak continues as predicted.
What's that again?
Presence.
I mean, last time I got a perfect roll on the first one, and all consecutive rolls were terrible. So, guess we'll see.
I'm gonna
Ever.
drive this right into the damn city. Hey, you guys know over?
Well,
Yes. Join me.
What did you get?
Join me in the darkness.
Everything's 1d20, right?
Yeah, and then you just add your presence to it.
Let's see your presence. Yeah.
Presence is plus 0, but I rolled 17.
Oh, okay. So
well, I mean, that's way better than all of us.
Yeah. By multiple.
So you, as you're looking around, you get approached. You don't really see anything of note just yet, Jothier, but you can move up a little bit. There's a group of riders that approach you and say, "Turn around. This is under siege. If you try to interfere, you'll be you'll be treated as part of the enemy."
We were sent here by Lord Kennison. We need to speak to General Poisson.
See one of the men in the middle lean over, and they're quietly talking. What's the cart for?
It's a gift from Lord Gannison.
We were sent to bring it to the General.
You'll have to ride around to the left. The general's already breaching the fort. They've made entry from the front. You'll have to go there.
I guess we'll need to ride fast then.
Very fast. Like I said, he's already inside. Ready to wipe these people out and go home.
Alright, well, I want to speed off to the left.
I guess you
Alright.
better hurry up then. Let's go.
All right. There we go. FPS Jothier, how you like that?
Great view.
All right.
How far do
And
we go?
Jothier seems to know where he's going since he got the amazing roll, and you can see it's like some scaffolding has been set up here to where they're breaching the wall. And you can see the soldiers lining up. They're already pouring in.
Wait, I shout out. Where is General? Oh, damn it.
Rasan.
Wasan? Where's General Wasan?
You hear a few men from the group in front of you laugh. The general leads from the front. He's already inside.
Right, we'd better get to him quick. Let's dismount here.
I think I'm supposed to bring in this cot and the map. Or the scroll.
Yover, you should go out front. Because you have the scroll.
There doesn't seem to be anywhere you're going to drive that cart into the fort there.
The scroll I have is not the one that he's looking for, though. Right?
I thought he said he gave you the whole
That's
bag of
the other
scrolls.
one. That was ISO.
Yeah, who has the bag of all the scrolls with all the orders and stuff?
No, I don't know has.
ISO has the
thought
bag of the stuff. He had given some of the particular ones over to Jothir if he didn't get it off the table already.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to check. So you have the bag of all the orders. You have the messenger bag with all the orders. Okay.
Yeah, like when I handed it to the caravan guys and everything.
Okay. Just making sure. And Jothir just has the ones that pardon the criminals.
The pardon.
Just the one, because
Okay.
the one guy took the other.
Right. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you can see, I mean, they're just ready to scale the wall here.
Well, I've no desire to wait around.
All right. As your dismounting woman approaches. What are you doing here? Who sent you?
We came from Lord Garrison. We have an urgent word for General Russell.
Lord Garrison.
Yes,
You
you
have-
heard me.
You have new orders for the general.
Yes, he is to end hostilities immediately.
She laughs. Says, "You're not serious. We're about to wipe these people out."
We are that serious. There's
Let me
more
see your
weapon
orders.
matters north. We are to hand our orders directly to General Besson and not to any of his representatives. So we need to get to the front immediately.
All right, she immediately starts to frown. Good luck. He's inside. I hope he wipes them out before you get there. She just...
Well, I've no interest in squabbling with you.
Which way is front?
that
I'm
way.
guessing here.
You don't see the scaffolding where the soldiers are going up into the fort?
That is the front? Okay.
Well, that's not the front. That is where they're going in.
We may have terrible roles, but I think we'll be able to
Well,
distinguish a fort from something that's not a fort.
yes.
Are you sure we're in the right spot?
Where did the general go in?
Where did he go in? Are you're asking out loud, and then just one of the men in front of you shout, "He goes this way. He leads from the front."
Right, quickly, let's get up there.
Alright, I just shove my ways past these guys.
Yeah, same.
All right. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but is everyone lagging? Because you're all teleporting.
No, I'm
Alright.
fine. I had some lag in the beginning, but now I'm fine.
Okay. Now, as you get up on the rampart, you can see, I mean, there's pools of blood everywhere. I mean, it looks like a really hard-fought battle. Dead bodies on both sides here. And let's go ahead and start everybody roll your initiative. I'll roll it for you, Jothir. What's your
Thanks,
presence, Jothir?
Uh, 12, and the difficulty is reduced by 2.
For
I
your-
got one.
For
right?
your presence? No, that's for something else. For Jothir. It's your initiative you're rolling.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, one.
No,
What was
Hold
initiative
on, hold
roll
on.
again?
it's 1d6 plus presence.
Oh,
What's your presence, Jothir? +1 plus.
Plus 0.
Okay, so 1d6.
so 14. Alright, I'm 14.
It can't be 14.
No, you had it right the first time when you rolled a 1. It's 1d6. It's in your pawn properties, 1d6 plus whatever your presence was. I forgot to update mine, to update my presence since it's in a different field. Mine should be like a...
I got a 5 in total.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I can see
yeah.
your rolls now. They're on the table. So we just need 1, 2, 3. We're missing somebody's. There it is. Now we're good.
Yeah, so it's 1d6 plus what?
Presence.
Plus your
Yeah,
presence.
plus or minus presence.
I think
Right,
the
or
minimum's a 1 though. So
Okay, then I'm
No.
okay. Then I'm
Could be-
0.
I
Yeah.
think your presence is -1 because
You're-
it's your last
Yeah.
roll is
Yeah, so I'm
D20 -1.
0.
Yes, what I mean. I think the minimum's a 1, right? It can't be a 0, right?
No, it can be 0.
Yeah, so I have 0.
You're good. We're fine. Let's continue. Everybody's set. Everybody's on the board. So as you make it up, you hear a man scream behind you, and one of the Rookwald invaders fall, and you get charged by one of the Crusaders. Jothir, you happen to be lucky enough. So roll your agility to dodge this guy. He's coming at you with a spear.
I rolled 13.
All right, you dodge. All right, and all right, you get to go next. What are you doing?
I draw my sword and shout at him, "Stop! We're here to end this."
All right, so you're not attacking, you're just drawing your sword and... Correct?
And taking up a defensive position in case he doesn't stop.
Okay. Okay. All right, Niana.
Want to press forward to find the general.
Okay.
But since I had a terrible observation roll, I
Yeah,
probably on the
You
wrong
just
way.
see... No. Well, there's only one way for you to go at this particular moment. The only way to go down is down the stairs. But down in the courtyard, you see just lots of people fighting. All right, so you're going to start looking for the general, head downstairs.
Yes.
Okay. And, whoops, who's next? ISO.
He's the same. Just gonna follow Niana. Is this spear dude one of these dudes that matches the description of the people that are climbing the scaffolding out front?
The one in front of you or the one behind you?
The one in front. There's a guy with like a helmet, a spear, and a torch.
Yes, he looks like a Rookwald soldier.
Okay, so as I'm going by, I'll tell him there's a Templar coming up on his back. You know, alert! There's a Templar sneaking up on behind you. Run by to look for Niana. However far I can go.
Okay, you can go up to where he is. Or she. All right, Loxon.
What I'm gonna do is okay. I'm doing the exact same thing, and I'm going downstairs.
Okay, well, go to where you want to go. All right, the Rookwald soldier is gonna just charge in and get in front of you and just start viciously attacking the Dune Guard defender. Jothir, what are you doing?
And the Crusader hasn't stopped.
Nope, he's just... I mean, he's focused on him at the moment because he's, deflecting his charge, but he's not necessarily focused on you particularly right now.
I try to fall back a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can get away if you want. That's what I'm saying. The other guy has his full attention at the moment.
Yeah, I see the other guys out of the corner of my eye leaving, I would imagine. And
Yep.
follow my group.
Okay. All right, I think Nyana, that's you.
Since I don't see him, I signal to ISO to go to the right as I try and go to the left.
Okay. And as you go to the left, one of the Dune Guards soldiers manages to finish off his Rookwald opponent and turns to greet you with a spear to the face. So go ahead and roll.
Agility?
Yes. Oh, you made it too. All right, you dodge his spear. Going to respond back, or are you still going to try to move away, or what are you doing?
I'll try to keep moving forward, boss.
Okay. ISO?
He's gonna go to the right. I guess up this artificial corridor, whatever this is of fighting that's going on, and try to look on toward the end of it and try to figure out where to go next, where this general might be gone.
Okay. All right, move forward. We're in the direction you're trying to go to? Okay. Well, not quite that far.
How far do you want me to go?
You can come back to about right here. And then, let's see, if you're going to keep looking for the general, re-roll your observation.
Alright, right on.
Oh, man.
10.
Yeah, you still can't find the general. But you did find one of Dunegard's defenders coming at you, so you can go ahead and make an attempt to dodge his spear thrust.
Oh man, can't trip him on the way in.
Well, we'll see. If you get a 1, or no, if you get a 20, you get to counterattack, I believe.
Oh.
Are you sanding something in the background?
No, that's my vacuum.
You're vacuuming in the back. Okay.
No, the vacuum's vacuuming in the background.
I get that. Let's see your agility roll.
You said I just need a 20, right? Total, like I got?
No, you just need a 12. Hit the crisp button on your Discord. Should filter that out.
No, I probably won't because I'm using other stuff.
It'll filter it out for us.
It won't because the vacuum's like right under me.
Oh. Well, you dodge.
Do I counterattack?
No, you have to get a 20 to counterattack. Like a natural
20.
a natural 20. A natural 20.
Now you're gonna clarify. Okay, I see how this game.
Yeah, now you're gonna do it.
You've seen the meme.
I even said I just need a 20. Okay.
Yeah, well, I yes, on the dice you need a 20, not with
Even
bonus.
the dice want me to tell a joke. It was great.
All right. Let's see. ISO Loxon.
I'm gonna follow ISO and try to find a general.
Okay. Make another observation check.
So head up to person.
You embracing ISO a little close there. This isn't that kind of role play. Okay, need you too.
Can't find them.
Yeah, you're good now. You still couldn't. Yeah, you have no idea where the general is. You don't have a clue. And the guy attacking ISO is now gonna take a swipe at you with his spear.
The vacuum has moved on to conquest something else.
All right. So Loxon, let's see you agility.
Really? 16.
All right, you easily dodge him as well. These Dune Guard defenders don't seem to be very tough. All right. Niana. Oh, no, wait. I skipped Joe. I did skip Joe here. No, I didn't. Okay. So we're back to the top. So it's NPCs. Yeah, Niana, he's going to come...
You shoot him.
No, he went first.
No, that was not, wasn't it?
Okay. I got this. Diana, you've got a Dune Guard defender coming after you again. So go ahead and roll your dodge.
Well,
All right. Just barely this time. You miss. Or he misses, rather. He's certainly getting closer, though. And you can see the general fighting with... looks like a woman holding some kind of staff and shield. And they look like they're engaged in mortal combat there up by the door. Well, the archway. Do you see them? Yeah. Yep.
You told him to us, or
Only Niana. Because Niana... Wait, Niana didn't pass. That was last time.
no,
Jothier.
do a new roll probably.
Yeah, hold on, though. My bad. Jothier, go ahead and, let's see. Yeah, what are you doing?
Having seen Niana go off on her own, and that other guard coming up behind her, I'm gonna try to come up behind that guard.
Okay. And do what?
Well, if he's trying to spear her, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna stab.
All right, let's see what you got. Going to be strength, I think. Yeah, for your sword.
You get special stuff at all as a rogue type?
I
in
rolled
this game for
9,
this?
and my strength is -2.
Oh. No, I don't think he has any special attacks. Double check, though. No. Nothing special. Okay, so you miss.
There's no bonuses from him having his back to me.
Not in this particular situation.
Doesn't that lower the difficulty rating though?
Yeah, but he's still got 9.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, now, Diana. Now, if you're looking for the general, go ahead and roll your observation. Okay, now that stuff I just said, you can see. Someone who's not in normal sort of Crusader soldier attire, and someone who's not in normal Rookwald soldier attire. They're
Right,
fighting
well,
up near the archway.
Yes, well, I want to run and turn towards them. And I think, given I've lighter armor, that I can outrun the Crusader.
Yep.
Ah, that reminds me of a clip I saw the other day.
How far do you want me to go?
You can go up to that next soldier. There you go. That's good. All right. ISO.
Let's see. So, this dude stepped out, tried to stab me. I'm here trying to beg a truce. I'm so sorry that I must get by you. And he's going to try to circle around, trying to open this guy up a little more up to Loxon, so that he's basically flanked. And then I'm going to try to take a, I guess I would call it, I'm just trying to trip him, so he's like not chasing me in a minute.
Okay. No. Agility.
I don't know if that's an attack. I mean, I can roll to hit his legs and hurt him and fall him down. It's not going to kill him, but whatever works best.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just going to try and get around him and trip him, I mean, that's... Yeah, we'll say that's agility, I guess. It's more maneuvering than strength. Oh. Yeah, no. He knows your tricks. He's just gonna sidestep, and now he's got his back away from both of you.
Can I re-roll my dice with my omen?
Yeah, that's what your omen lets you do. Sure.
Nope.
Wow. I don't think your dice likes you. All right. Loxon.
Alright.
Oh, actually, yeah, he's gonna... Yeah, go ahead, Loxon. Go ahead.
So ISO seems to have this covered. I'm just gonna try one past him and try to find the general, man. Is someone going to do now?
Well, roll to find the general first.
Oh.
Otherwise, you don't know which way to run.
Jackpot.
Okay. Yep. All right. Right in front of you. You can see the general engaged in... Well, what looks like the general. Engaged in combat with another person from Doonguard. So now you know where he is.
I'm going one towards him. Is it far enough, or?
Well, you're going to get swung at it as you leave, so make an agility test. Ooh, no.
I would like to use my omen.
Okay. Good thing I so reminded everybody. Don't forget you have omens.
I would use my omen.
All right. Let's see. Spear damage. I think it's just...
It was 1d6.
Yeah, I
He
think
has a
so.
spear too. Loxon does. He just doesn't have it equipped or whatever.
Okay. D6.
I do, yeah.
All right. I'll let you roll your own damage. Roll 1d6.
That's evil.
It's actually how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be the one rolling all the dice, having fun. Did you just roll a 6? Oh, no, that was your 20. You rolled 4. All right. All right, he gets you with a nasty gash. Take 4 damage.
Yep.
All right. At least you know who the general is. You're going to leave a nice little blood trail straight to him. All right. Jothier. You and ISO both going to get attacked. So go ahead and both of you roll agility for me.
I rolled a 14.
I rolled a natural 20. Since I used to sword fight a lot... Oh, no, he's got a spear, right? Never mind. Is there a chance I can take this guy's weapon and trip him anyway, or just trip him?
No, you just get an attack back for your counterattack. So
Oh, it's not like something cool happened?
that's what you
Other than
get.
just
If you
get a
defend,
free
you get to
Get a free
counterattack.
attempt? Is it,
Yeah,
does it
you just
hit,
get-
or is it like a free attempt?
A free attempt.
Okay. Can I fight on the retreat so I can move?
Well, no, this is on their turn, not your turn.
Yeah, but I got a 20.
Yeah, and you get to counterattack.
Okay. So am I rolling agility to trip him, or just? Well, I guess I'm just hitting him.
What
Just
attack?
attack.
I see. You want to make an attack like you want to. That is
No,
what you
no,
want
yeah,
your.
I just do what you said. I rolled it, or it's already done.
Okay. But that's what you wanted to do, is to trip him as your attack. Is that what you mean? Well,
Yeah,
you
that's
were
what
just
I was
saying
going for,
run and trip him. You can't run. This is just a straight attack. If you want to trip him and knock him down, yes. But like running and moving, no. You just get a counter something. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to trip him, push him down or whatever, knock him down, that's fine. You just can't move. Is what I was. That's what I was saying.
I mean, it's okay. I already rolled this other thing. It did the thing, I guess.
Okay. So this is an attack, or are you knocking him down?
I mean, I wanted to knock him down and then
Okay.
to do what I did last time, try to get away from him or whatever. But
Well, yeah,
I
but
guess
you
this
can't.
is
This
just the
isn't your
knock 'em down
turn
part
to
of
move
it.
away. Yes,
Yeah,
you could do the
I know,
knockdown.
I'm not done talking. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Okay.
All right. So you knock him off his feet. Whoops. There we go. And Joe Thayer, you dodged him. His attack. So now we're back to you. It's your turn.
Okay, so since I dodged his attack, am I able to run away without him swinging at me on the way out?
No, this is your turn now. That was on his turn. So you're on your separate turn. If you try to leave, he can get a free attack.
Okay, I feel like even if it's a defensive stance, Jothi's going to want to try and at least back up towards the rest of the group.
Okay. Well, if you want to try and do some kind of disengaging action, you can try that as your action.
Okay,
You know?
what do I need to roll for that?
Well, how do you want to do it? You just want to straight run? You want to just use your sword to disengage? I mean, how do you want to do it? You could try and talk him out of it. You know, if you want to use presence, if you want to run, you would use agility, use your sword somehow, strength. So it depends on how you want to do it. How creative can you be?
Well, I see that those two fighting to Jothir's right, and that Crusader has his back to us, but the Ruckwood soldier is facing us. So I think we're going to want to try and.
You talking about over here?
I don't see what you're pointing at.
You'll see a sec.
I think he means this one.
Oh, okay. The black vested one.
Yeah, the closest ones to Jothir.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So he's going to move in that. I would move in that direction, also because that's away from the side that the Crusader has his spear.
Okay. So you're just
and
trying
just
to
kind of shout at him that we're not here to fight. We're here to help. We're here to stop this.
Okay. So which do you want to try and roll? What's your highest stat? What are your highest bonus? Let's try that.
Except for strength, they're all +0, and strength is a negative.
Okay. Well, then you would probably want to use your sword then to somehow disengage from the guy, like, you know, walk backwards and repel him with that.
So
See what I'm saying about you? You're going to have to roll on your action. So you want to be, well, I don't want to say you want to be creative, but
Okay,
creative being helps. You want to play to your strengths when you're taking action. So you just sort of, I mean, you can try and talk your way out of it, but that would be presence roll. See what I'm saying? Whatever action you take that you want to roll to get away from him, you get to pick. You know, as long as it's reasonable.
Okay, just to let you know that presence and agility are both +0, but they both get a difficulty reduced by 2. I don't know if that applies to this.
What do you have? Because I didn't see anything on that. I think that's just one of your abilities. I think one of them is if you're trying to hide or something, right? I think that's what that one is. I'm going back to your guy. Whoops. Because I didn't see that in your sheet.
Maybe the other one's bluffing or something.
Well, one of them, I'm pretty sure he gets... No, I'm blind. It's right here. All presence and agility tests have their DR reduced by 2. Normal tests are DR 10 instead of 12. Okay, my apologies. You are right. I don't know why. Oh, I see. Minus 3d2. Okay, I thought that was for the strength rolls. So, okay, yeah. Presence and agility. So you're right. So it would be... That's essentially a 2. So yeah. Which one do you want to use to roll? You want to use presence to talk or agility to just dodge? Be a gymnast.
I'll go with presence.
Okay. All right. Roll your presence.
just
You're going to
rolling
need
a 20. Right?
Right. Yeah, it'll always
I
use
got
be
a
a D.
14 again.
Okay. Well, all right. So, once you yell at him, he freezes for a minute, just stares at you. You can hear him out of breath and breathing, and he just sort of stops. Doesn't really say or do anything else, and you can see his helmet turning just ever slightly to the left and right. I mean, he's keeping you in his vision and just sort of looking around at everything. But he seems to be not advancing on you for now, at least. And you want to... Good, you move off? Which way were you moving?
Jothir's right. I'm
Okay.
ultimately going to be trying to get to follow everyone.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Even
We'll
though
just
this
say
is
he
an enemy place now. I'm not
he
counting.
keeps an eye on you, but he's not... Doesn't look like he's following you. All right, and then and ISO has the physical scroll, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Nyana.
Alright, well, I want to keep running and start, thinking I'm getting within shouting distance of the general. And, well, basically while running also wave my right hand to signal that I'm unarmed. To hopefully make that guy that's standing in that other doorway ignore me.
Oh, if only. Too cute. Yeah, let's, he doesn't care. He's gonna aim his crossbow at you and take a shot. Oops, that wasn't the take a shot button.
Oh man, he must have fumbled.
Got the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Oh, he
Moving
doesn't shoot. Oh,
backwards.
hang on. We'll get rid of this. There we go. Boom! Alright, well, let's see if he hits you. No, he does not. The bolt flies right by you. And it's going to take him a minute to reload, so he seems more intent to reload than he does to physically chase after you, so you can go ahead and move up.
Alright, I want to scream General Roussan, end the war. It's urgent, end the war immediately. We have word from Lord Gennison. And some other words along those lines.
And some other words along those lines. You're supposed to say those words. It's part of the role-playing part of the game. All right, let's Oh man. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. We'll leave it suspenseful. ISO. Oh.
He runs over. He says, General Rassan, I have a cease and desist order from Lord Gannison. You are to withdraw. Here is the message itself from Lord Gannison. Please stop.
All right, let's see presence. Oh, man.
Uh-oh, can someone help me? Anyone have any more rerolls left?
I do.
Yeah, you can use the reroll for
now might be
someone
the
else,
time.
too. Yeah, if you took the one about the reroll, you can give it to someone else.
Yes, I actually did pick the reroll, so I can grant you one.
Yes. Cross finger.
Woo! All right.
One of these rerolls had to work.
So, as you're talking, the general's swinging his hammer. And he bashes her shield pretty good. She takes a few steps back. And then he hears you and he takes a step back and says, "What?"
It's a cease and desist order. Here, he holds the message out to him. I know you're not in a state to read it here, but the order says to withdraw. This is from Lord Gannison. He said to make sure you know. We were to hand it directly to you. We came all the way into the fortress to give it to you. Through the fray.
He slowly... he looks at you, gives you a quick look behind him, and then he just slowly backs up. The woman just sort of holds her ground where she's at. You can see her shield bobbing up and down. She's obviously out of breath. Everybody here looks pretty tired. He opens the scroll and starts reading, stopping every now and then to watch her and make sure she hasn't moved. But she seems content to stay where she's at for the moment. Oops. And he just yells, "Withdraw." He's outwardly very upset. I mean, you can tell he wants to crumble the paper, but he doesn't. He takes another few steps back. Says, you have another set of orders in that bag. For her. He says for her in a very derisive manner.
Oh, but of course. But don't feel left out. Lord Gannison also brought to you a gift. He said it's in the cart outside. In the chest.
All right. All of the you hear her yell to the soldier next to her, give the order to hold position and retake the rampart as soon as they withdraw. You just hear him say, yes, Commander, and he just sort of runs forward. He's got his crossbow reloaded and leveled. But everybody does seem to be sort of splitting up.
Isa will look towards her and say, Commander, may I approach? I apparently have orders for you as well. My message.
Sorry, I'm getting everybody organized over here to make it look pretty. Jothir, you're going to come join them, I'll assume.
Yeah, don't be trapped in that.
All right. You can just see her eyes mostly fixed on the general, but they just sort of dart over to you when you're speaking to her. She just gives one real brisk nod.
He'll go
Does it?
forward slowly or whatever.
All right. She does not move. She just stays right where she's at still. Nice.
He'll hand out the...
Right. She'll set her shield down against the wall and holds her hand out and takes the paper, parchment. You can step back now with your friends. She uses the scroll to motion you backwards.
Hello, friend.
Are you out of breath too? I say, panting. Because I've never ran that much in my life.
I just ran all the way to you lot after you left me at the goddamn fort. Then I had to run all the way through this army. If anyone here is tired, it's me.
Well, if there's anyone tired of you, then that's me. Did I say we?
Well, do with it, sweet cheeks. You're stuck with me.
I think we'd better leave this fort before she decides we are good prisoners.
She says, no. You're supposed to stay here.
What?
She nods at the scroll in her hand. You're supposed to take something back to Lord Gannison.
What do we have to take back?
Yeah, what's that exactly?
I bet I can guess.
A book.
Book?
We came all this way for a book.
Yes, why exactly? Yeah, what book are we talking about here that's so important that we had to risk all our lives to get here?
Lieutenant, she calls one of her soldiers over. Oops, that's not the right one. You hear her talking with her lieutenant. She says, "Send a rider north to our friends immediately. Tell them we accept their offer." Just says, "Yes, Commander," and heads out. She puts the scroll away and picks her shield back up. Says, "You four can come with me after he leaves my keep." She motions towards the general with her staff.
Oh yeah, and did I forget to mention, I got stabbed! So I hope you're all happy.
"We'll see to your wounds. Calm down."
Unfortunately, he does not have a calm state.
This is my calm state.
Case in point.
The general says, "Before I leave, I need to speak to them." She just nods and doesn't say anything else. "Come with me." He heads towards the exit that they've made. Not the actual exit.
Both front.
Well, no. The not front. The war front. And all the Rookworld soldiers are starting to head out, and the Dune Guard defenders are just sort of encircling and surrounding them, making sure that they leave. And as the men are departing, he turns to face you. Oops. Keep forgetting about Jothier. He takes a scroll out, hands it to Loxon. Or he takes the scroll in his hand and hands it to Loxon. "I don't need this now. But you do. You are to negotiate that she sends, I don't know what you would call it, a scouting party north to investigate the undead in Rookwald. That's part of the negotiation of..." He starts to grind his teeth. "Our surrender."
You
That
said to scout the where?
in the book. The undead problem.
So I'm guessing the fact that she needs to send a scouting party isn't on her scroll?
I don't know what's on her scroll. You guys handed it to her. But that's what's on mine. He points to the scroll in your hand. Read it for yourself.
That's asking a lot for him. It's okay. We'll convince him.
We can translate it into words for him.
And you let her know if she does not accept those terms, I'll be back over this wall tomorrow. And make that very clear to her.
We will, General.
And he turns and files out with everybody else. Oop, now he does. This way, you can hear her call out from behind you.
I turn around and go towards her.
Through here.
So we're not checking the bodies this time around.
If that's what you would like to go do,
No.
you can certainly try. You sure? I would be happy to roll to see what happens.
I'm sure you would.
All right. Through here.
Our character, I remember this place.
I think this is where... This might have been the episode I started watching you guys on the other one.
She holds her staff up to the door. And the door opens. Just creaks very slowly. And she turns. Touch nothing in this room, or I'll kill you right here. Is that understood?
Fine.
Yes, my lady.
I mean, there's not exactly anything to take in here.
I think she means the room beyond the doors.
Oh, that room. Got it.
I apologize, he's not that bright at times.
And you, Quiet One?
I understand.
All right, she walks through. You have to walk through. These doors don't open. These aren't like the new ones. All right, she walks in the room. And the torches just light automatically. All right, you can each make an observation check that didn't pass before. Jothier, we're going to stick with yours. You don't have to re-roll since you aced your first one.
Am I fine?
Nope, you got to re-roll. You didn't ace your first one.
Yeah.
Perfect again.
No, you didn't have. Oh yeah, no, wait, Jothier didn't have to roll. It was you. You got the perfect the last time. Okay. So.
I think mine double clicked or something.
It did. You so close. So
It didn't
close.
make it because that first one was in there for.
Your eyesight continues to be afflicted. But everybody else, if you see something, you can ask a question. You can inspect it further. But Nyana, there's a dagger lying on a bookshelf next to you, made of some kind of dark, familiar-looking metal. And as you're all looking around, she's looking through chest and a bookshelf. And as you're walking around, she doesn't seem to be bothered that you're walking around. And for everybody except for ISO, you see a very familiar looking item in the far corner of the room.
You mean this?
No. I mean this.
Oh, this.
No, this.
That was what I was pointing about.
Okay. Well, on my screen, you're pointing to the green gold one. But yes, the chest looks identical to the one that you brought here.
How is it you have the same chest we just brought him?
We found it. And brought it here.
What is it?
Why don't you tell me? You brought one here? What's in yours?
I know it's claimed to be in that one. Sort of. Or who it is claiming it's theirs.
Go on.
I overheard his name was Gensai. Man wearing red sash, familiar with sword work, made short work of on-jet guards, caravan guards.
I don't know this man.
He was peacefully trying to claim the chest, but when we refused, much like the guards had before, he'd said it would not end as peacefully next time.
Mind if I open it?
Touch nothing.
Huh?
My lady, if you do mind me asking, what's this black dagger on this shelf?
She closes the chest and walks over. She looks at the dagger a moment. It's for using to kill users of magic.
Why would you have a dagger that can kill users of magic?
So that we could kill users of magic.
Anyone Pacific?
What were to happen if some magic user were stabbed by this?
I don't know. We've never used it, we've just come across it. I don't
So you
remember
know-
how.
Is this like a museum where you just collect things?
This is our hold where we keep our valuable things.
This is
And things
fascinating. So many
that
things in
we
here.
don't know what they are yet.
So you're not planning on stabbing anyone with that knife?
Are you a magic user?
No.
Then I would just stab you with a sword. It's made from the blood of... I don't know. That's what gives it the black color. Special blood. That's all I know.
I semi-unconsciously touch my side, where I have the wound, and just back away from the shelf.
Oh. Are you alright?
Yeah, I guess I'm just not feeling too well. Is there
Been all that
something
run?
here to wet my throat?
There's a well in the courtyard, but you'll have to wait here until we're finished.
I was thinking of something more strong.
While they're talking, Jothier would sheath his sword, and he's going to start looking, without touching, the books on the shelves, because he knows that books are a bit of a rarity in the world right now, and he's just looking for similarities to something he's carrying.
Right? You notice on the shelf all of the books. A lot of them are, pretty much all of them are quite dusty. They doesn't look like they've been opened a lot. But there is one that looks a little similar to what you've got. It does not have as much dust. We'll say it does not have as much dust on it as the others. But you do see one that's similar.
What's this book here? It looks a little more recently used than the others.
She's sliding her finger across the books. Apparently finds what she's looking for and grabs it. She stuffs the book in Iso's face, waits for him to take it as she walks over towards Jothier.
Oh, a book. Why, thank you.
She doesn't say anything and walks over, looks at the book. A gift. It was a gift.
A gift from who?
She doesn't answer your question. What else do you know about your chest? She uses her staff to motion over towards Loxon and the identical-looking chest.
Personally, nothing. Because a few people decided to run off without me, without informing me where we were going. So I literally have no idea what's in the chest.
We don't either. We were to pick it up and bring it, and then give it to General Whoop-Ass outside.
And who did you get it from?
I mentioned that some Anjat caravanners.
She just sort of loses her... just stares rather off into space, thinking in a moment.
You know, this is the second weirdest statue I've seen in the past couple of days. We saw one just about a day ago. Some hooded figure. I don't know. It looked like it was trying to grab something. And now this one here, some kind of angel. I'm guessing. Like, what's up with those?
It's our guardian.
So the other statue might have been a guardian?
The other statue sounds like it's a dark god. Or something that I know nothing of.
So the fact there were prisoners in a cage next to it would mean nothing then?
I don't know anything about prisoners and statues. I mind my own business here.
We've
Describe to
explained
me the man
prisoners to you,
who tried to
Loxon.
come... Explain to me the man who came for the chest.
That's the one I was mentioning, had a red scarf around his neck. Was wearing mostly black, light armor, riding a horse. Very armored horse. Knew how to use his weapon. Killed the guards very easily. In the
But
time
very-
it took me to move the wagon 20 meters.
By a few, he means he killed like 5 soldiers within a second. And I mean that. I was watching the entire thing.
A red scarf.
Yes, it was a nice scarf, so I noted it.
And who do you work for?
Well, for anyone, but for right now I'm doing some work for Lord Gannison from Fort Severin.
You all work for Lord Gannison.
For the time being.
Yeah, for now.
You're on the wrong side. But we're done here.
What do you mean
Now-
to one side?
You'll regret working for him. Sooner or later.
Why is that?
Well, you'll either do whatever he tells you, or end up dead. If you don't.
That was the impression I got. He was more concerned about the horses than us.
Well, are there any alternative employers?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed, lady, there's an undead army approaching, going past, going past Rockworld right now. So
Yes,
if
I know
he's the bad
all
guy
about
here,
the undead army. Like I said, you're fighting for the wrong side.
Aren't all
it's not-
sides fighting the undead?
We're just fighting for our existence right now. You came here. I don't know how you did it. But you stopped the attack. You saw where they were. If Lord Gannison wants his army to stop, I imagine the reason is much worse than the outcome here would be.
What side do you serve, Lady Commander?
We're the last free settlement in all of the grinding wastes. We exist here and nowhere else. Your Lord Gannison is in league with Exida, who rules the rest of the grinding wastes, who has slowly pushed us back to our very last keep.
let's get one thing straight here, he's not my lord.
Well, you're here doing his bidding, aren't you?
Yeah, because again, there's an undead army going through Rockworld. So unless you have a better way of stopping it, we got no choice in the matter.
I was born and raised in Rookwold. I don't care about the politics, but I'm still a Rookwoldian native, so I prefer to fight for that side rather than to fight for the side I do not yet know. But perhaps there's ways you can persuade me.
What is your general going to do with his chest?
Again, we don't know. We were just told to give it to him.
All he said was that you'd better accept the terms, or he'd be back invading the fort tomorrow.
You have your book? What else do you want?
Whatever Lord Gannison wrote in the letter.
Well, he said that we needed you and your forces to scout the undead in northern Rookwold.
She laughs, very amused.
I'm taking it that doesn't sound like a very attractive request.
Now I understand why he wants to spare Doonguard. We've spent our whole existence fighting Exeter. We know a thing or two about fighting the undead. We've spent our entire lives doing it, generations now. He thinks we might know something that can help him. But that's fine. We will send out a party. You have my word on it.
You said that we're on the wrong side of things. But if we weren't so conscripted, what is it you would have us do?
I know nothing about you, or where your allegiances stand. But if you stay with that army, and with that chest, I don't think you're going to have much of an alternative. You'll probably see your friend in the red sash again.
You certainly aren't offering us an alternative.
It's a theme in life. At least life as I know it.
I have nothing to offer you. Everything we have you can see in this room. And if I am correct about who the man in red was, I'll be short one chest soon. So I have nothing to offer you. Just
Do
a
you know
few
this
words
man?
of warning. No, but I think I know his order.
Which is that?
And like I said, I know none of your allegiances. I think I'll keep my information to myself. For now.
Is he the proper owner?
If he says he is, then yes.
Of both chests, then.
Would this new development mean an end to the alliance between Exeter and Rookwold?
I doubt it. May make it stronger. Whoever Exeter allies with, they aren't any good. Neither is anyone who Lord Gannison would interact with. Have any of you heard of Lord Gannison before today? Before you met him?
Funny
Not
enough,
I.
no. Nope.
Have I heard the name before? Not at
No.
all, right?
No.
The only thing I heard involved goblins, and I don't know if it's true.
And where is the Unbroken Conclave now?
Well, let's say they're not really unbroken anymore.
It's quite broken. Maybe we should rename it the Quite Broken Conclave. Has a nice ring to it.
Don't you find it the least bit suspicious that he's the one with all the power and they're gone in a time of Rickwold's greatest emergency?
Well, in a time where undead are apparently invading the lands, I'm not surprised by a lot of things.
Or
So
where the
you're
sun doesn't
saying-
come up.
So you're saying he's the other one in power now?
I'm saying he's always been in power. He probably appointed half the council. Or I should say, he got them appointed. He's not to be trusted. He'll take care of you. To a point. As long as you do what he says. He'll look out for you. He'll expend resources on you. He'll make you rich. Just depends on how much you're willing to do.
I will heed your words and I'll consider my allies.
Like I said, the longer you're with that chest, the faster I'd think. She steps aside and motions for everybody to exit.
Exeter.
No. Just no.
You're not exiting?
Well, did you not hear what Please said?
Exeter? Yeah,
That's what I know about.
I got you.
Actually, before I exit, so out of everyone that's alive right now, there's no one that can challenge him. Is that what you're saying?
If I lived in
Well-
Rookwald, I would leave. I don't know who is left to challenge him. I'd have not been to Rookwald in a very long time. I didn't know the undead army had taken the city. He might be the most powerful person left. And even if he's not, he still is probably the most powerful person left.
So, from your last visit there, there's no one that could possibly be alive now?
We don't have much contact with anyone. Exeter keeps us isolated. We're in our own little corner. We don't get many visitors. Very few.
Fine.
You can tell your general I'll send my riders out at first light, but I'm going to make sure they have a full night's rest before I send them out on another mission. After all of this.
Thank you, Commander.
We'll inform the general that you've agreed to the terms and we'll ride back up north towards Lord Gennison.
She just nods.
We're to
Doesn't say anything else.
We're to bring the book, correct?
Yes.
Saying that, what book is it? As I look at ISO.
And he'll squint and look at it. Does it have a title?
It's a book about the undead. Kind of a fighting the undead for dummies kind of book. It's got some of the basics information, that type of stuff in it.
Might be time to read through this when we are on our way anyway.
It's an intriguing topic. I would like to give it a read, if I may.
So would I. Perhaps we should just read it aloud on the way.
Perhaps we can read a chapter each.
And perhaps you
That
should
works.
leave my fort now, please.
Oh yes. Sorry, I forgot you were here. Where
I
are we going?
apologize humbly. We'll be on our way.
I'm still stabbed.
Wait at the front
yeah.
gate. I'll have one of my physicians see to you.
Yeah, faithful on the West Point gate.
She motions up ahead and to the right.
It's the front line here, right? The scaffolding.
Oops.
We are talking about this scaffolding, right?
To the right. Nope. The front gate.
To the right.
Not the scaffold.
You wanted to go out. You focused on the front. I thought I'd take you out the front now.
Yeah, that's why
Oh,
I was laughing.
you
Because I was saying this scaffolding over here.
Oh,
I
you mean
gotcha.
this here? You
Yep.
mean this here?
Yeah, it was just funny because in Baltimore I was like, no, this scaffolding, right?
Is there something you won from that horse's backside?
I'm going to run to the well to wet my throat.
Okay.
I'm gonna get healed.
All right. She will call for one of her men. Comes over and treats your wounds. Puts away his sword and spear and starts wrapping up your wound.
Hey, I say out loud. Why am I the only one getting stabbed here? First with the goblins, now this.
You're just way more valiant than any of us. I appreciate you. I do, Luxon. Pat his back.
That's why I was stabbed, you idiot.
Oh, sorry, I'm stronger than I look.
We've been traveling for a few days. We might want to refill our water skins over at that well.
That's good.
She doesn't say anything, but she just waves you over with her wand. Her staff. She motions that way. You can walk that way, but she stands here at the gate.
I mean, am I still getting healed or?
Yeah, he's still binding your... I guess you said your back, where you were stabbed. So, you're over here, nice, away from everybody. You're at the well. Nobody around, so you could talk quietly.
So you're telling me?
Are you done getting your wounds bound?
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. I thought you were talking
no,
about me.
them. They're over here by the well. You could be done now if you want.
I know, but I thought you were talking about me.
Okay, well now you can be. If you want to walk over here, he's all done. You can heal 2 health.
Right.
Well, comrades, where do you think we go from here?
Well, she's correct. We probably are on the wrong side.
I suggest we at least go back to Lord Gennison. Maybe we can figure out a bit more if we phrase our questions correctly.
What do we do if we run into the red scarfed gentleman?
Well, despite his ability to kill, he only seemed to become violent when he was attacked.
So talk it out then.
I suggest we try and prevent you from provoking him.
Yeah, ISO.
We've delivered the chest, so he shouldn't have any problem with us. We're not in possession of it now.
Well, the problem is we'll be carrying a chest back that looks exactly the same.
Yes, that's the problem.
I guess
Maybe we
got...
can put a blanket or something over it. Hope he doesn't notice.
Maybe that will convince him.
Actually, you are just supposed to take the chest and give it to the general. You don't. You're done with the chest.
That's what I thought first, but then when we were in the room, I thought I heard you say multiple times that we would also be now taking the chest in that room also back to Lord Gannison for some reason, not just the book.
No,
and then I asked again, and then everybody
no.
said yes. So
The book that you have to take, not the
yeah,
chest.
when I was confirming, I was like, okay, so we're taking the book and this chest here back to. Then it was like, yeah, like okay. But that's comforting to know. I will delete this from my notes.
So I guess as long as we don't
Just-
we don't attack him or be aggressive against him, I think he and his friends, if he has any, should not bother us.
Yeah, let's just hope we don't have any trouble on the way back.
Or we can at least tell him the chest is in the possession of General Russell, so it's not our problem anymore.
We did offer him to come with us so that he could speak with the people here about the chest.
And we did tell him where we were bringing the chest, so he might leave us alone if he finds out we spoke the truth.
But didn't you hear what she said? He'll always have a use for us.
That's Lord Gannison.
And then what we're talking about?
No, we were talking about the guy with the red scarf.
Oh! Alright then, forget what I just said. Okay, well, I hope we don't meet him again. He looks incredibly scary with a sword. And that's coming from me. But if he gets anywhere near us, I'll have Adam warn us.
That sounds like a plan. All right, well, back to the horses then, I suppose.
I suggest we take a night's rest before we leave.
We might be sleeping outside. I don't think we're welcome.
I mean,
We're better off leaving now, but while we still can.
I remember you saying you were tired and injured. I thought a rest might do you good.
We can certainly camp.
I'm never tired.
It might be best to camp a bit of a distance from here so that we don't get conscripted into all of this again.
That's fair, but I suggest we do take some rest before we push ourselves too far.
Fine, then. I'll rest at the gate. Whilst you lot just do what you want.
You're gonna rest at the gate.
Yeah, right here.
I
No,
think
I suggest we rest outside.
yeah, I think he means rest as in catch some Z's. I don't think he means rest as in wait
Fine,
5
just lay
minutes
down?
and drink water.
Fine. Oh, right then. Fine, yeah.
Maybe we can sleep under the cart or something.
Wait, under the cart?
I think the general took the. Maybe he only took the chest. We'll see.
Oh, I mean,
Well, you actually have his orders, ISO. He handed them to you to read.
Okay, yeah. What is it? We'll check it out. What does it say?
It says to bring the chest back to him at Camp Several, not to open it. Well, it doesn't refer to it as a chest. It says the item. Bring the item back to Lord Gannison at Camp Several and bring the entire army with him.
Oh,
And
okay. So we are.
And there's some other
making
small
the-
things about, travel the coast to avoid the undead, make sure that the Dune Guard sends out a war party or whatever to investigate the undead, etc., etc. Just small stuff like that. But those were the big highlights. It just tells him to bring the chest back with him.
So we're
So,
traveling
General
with the army.
the General Rassan's army, right?
What did you say, ISO?
We're bringing the chest we brought here to the General Rassan. We're now bringing back to Lord Gannison plus the General Rassan's and his army, right?
No. The chest is now under the control of the general. Your part in the chest is done. You just have the book.
But
Okay,
we
yes,
are
I'm
traveling
confused.
with the army.
It's up to you.
No, no.
A lot of the army is going to be a lot slower because they're not, they don't have horses for everybody. So
No, I'm gonna say no to that.
So the orders say General Rassan, bring me that chest. That's what you're saying?
correct. His orders are
That
to
was my
bring the
confusion.
chest. Yeah, not yours. Your only orders are that book.
I suggest we camp a few miles from the fort and then travel the distance tomorrow.
You know what? You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that might be a good idea.
Tomorrow, give or take the sunlight.
Don't worry, Adam can tell us when it's day or night.
Okay.
As I told you before.
I still.
You want to say that again? You cut out.
Then he can let us know when it's time to move out.
So you want to travel with them?
Well, since you lot can't see or hear him, I have to tell you.
Yes. We don't. I don't think we want to travel with the army, from what I
No,
understood.
it's
Right? We
not-
wanted to
no.
ride out,
Can be
camp out, and
faster.
then head up by ourselves.
Yeah, we can be faster if we don't travel with them.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna bring a book.
And your bag of unused orders and scrolls.
Yeah.
That was a joke, but okay.
Oh, okay, never mind. I laughed.
Well, he will probably expect something of those back. The part about the horses. Unless you want to owe Lord Gannison some horses. Make him think
No.
that you owe him some horses. That would be another reason you may want to go return.
So that's
those
a funny
scrolls.
thing, right? That's a funny thing. He says if he used the scrolls to get horses, they're his. But
Correct.
we technically didn't. So
Correct. So again, if you don't come back with proof that you didn't give those scrolls to anybody, then he's going to think that you
yeah,
did.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
So we
saying.
should give him the scrolls back. I agree. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean by you have that bag of unused orders and scrolls and a spare pardon.
Well, he wouldn't ask for the pardon back.
Well, maybe he wouldn't.
I mean, we.
But
Could,
then again,
he-
if you don't give it to him, he's going to think that you used it.
No, we did. We gave it to the other guy. He just said no. But maybe he crumbled it up and ate it or threw it down. Or
He didn't take it.
Yeah, he didn't take it.
well, I don't know.
Yeah, he
Is Lord
refused
Gannison
outright.
going to ask him?
He might not, but you know, if Lord
We'll just tell
Gannison
him that
thinks
we
that the man
released-
cheated him, that's fine. That's that's an angle you can pursue. You can
I
not
was
care.
gonna tell him that we released two prisoners.
Yeah. You can hand him back whatever you do or don't want to.
Why don't we just give him everything else, but leave, but let us, but why don't we keep the pardon letter? By giving him the
Why?
rest.
Why don't we just take everything with us,
Yeah, I'm saying no.
and we only give him what he asks for? And if he doesn't ask for something, we just keep it.
Well, no, I'm saying right. We keep the pardon letter, but we give him everything else.
Why would we give him anything unless he asks for it?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We keep the pardon letter, and whatever he wants, we give him. That's what I'm trying to say here, Ultra.
But what are we going to do with a pardon letter? What use is it to us?
Well, we'll see, won't we? It might have a use.
You never know when you
Yes.
might need to be pardoned.
To me, it just sounds like you're getting us into a lot of trouble.
No, I'm not. I'm just, no. You never know when there might be that might come in handy. It's a pardon letter, man. Come on.
Yes, but I do not like taking risks that
All
are
right, all
completely
those for keeping
unnecessary.
the pardon letter. Say aye. Aye.
I'll be holding on to it.
Okay, 2 eyes. Come on. Anyone? Aye side.
I mean, we'll be holding on to it, but if he asks for it, we give it back.
What if I can opt for a compromise? But let's go camp. And I can offer that.
Yeah, Luxon might need some sleep to get his sense
We can
back.
easily tell him that they kept the pardon letter.
We don't have to tell them that they kept the pardon letter. We just tell them we did
We
what you
released
said,
it.
and 2 prisoners were released.
I mean, you guys know,
Let him
right?
make his own
that-
assumptions.
You guys know, right, that Alexander traveled with him back to the camp, so he could just say himself that he did not take the pardon.
Right, but then if he directly asks for the pardon, then we can give it to him. But if
Yeah.
he doesn't directly ask for it, we don't have to offer that information.
I mean, besides, if
That,
I
that's
mean,
exactly what I've been saying.
I know, but if I know, but if Alexander, but I mean, Alexander has his pardon letter. So what if, but just hopefully, he'll think that the elder has it too.
I'm just saying that all we need to hand back is the book. And anything else we only give back if he asks for it.
I agree.
Fine.
All right.
So whenever we get to camp,
Okay. Why don't you, let's just exit exit the keep for the moment, and then So you've reached camp. You've set up your horses. They're ready. You're around the fire, discussing the day's events. And were you talking about forging a letter, basically?
Yeah, basically. Like, if that's something that Jothier is interested in, I can, like, ISO carries writing materials for stuff, all kinds of things. He could probably get if that's something that Jothier is familiar with, copying stuff, he could probably do that.
All right, so I pull out the letter, the pardon, and I read through it a little bit and hand it over to ISO so he can take a look at it too.
The letter basically gives the person a pardon within the lands of Rookwald and outside the lands of Rookwald, as long as they're working directly for Lord Gannison, and for as long as they keep this with them. And of course it also warns of death and being hunted down if they try to abuse the pardon or get out of their obligations, etc., etc. It's pretty much what you'd expect. It's only good for as long as Lord Gannison wants it to be good for, essentially. And he can withdraw it at any time for any reason, without notification, etc., etc. It's pretty one-sided, but it just offers someone who's near death one more chance at life, one more chance to maybe free themselves someday, that kind of thing. Delivers hope. That's basically what it says, and it's got his signature on it, his seal. And anything else?
I got nothing.
I wrote down the name of the stuff you said, like basically the description. If copying this is something we want to try to do, let me know. Otherwise, ISO would want, I guess, to share a book with Niana, since she was interested in this too.
So copying, it's going to be somewhat difficult because you don't have his seal. You could try copying the signature a couple different ways. I mean, you could just write a name, and unless somebody knows what his signature looks like, they may not notice. Maybe. Just depends. You could try to copy it exactly, which I don't know of any of you who are forgers, so extremely difficult and near impossible with no level of training.
Well, arguably I have a steady hand for all the writing in my diary, but I don't know how good I am at forging a certain type of handwriting.
Well, we could always forge the letter and find a way to try to get the seal on it later, right?
Yep.
Well, are you copying his handwriting, the letter, or are you just copying the contents of the letter? Because if you just want to make just a verbatim copy of what it says, you don't have to roll for anything. There's no difficulty in that. If you're just writing down what he said,
we'll do both. 2 pieces of paper.
Okay.
How many copies were we making?
Let's not make too many. It will stand out if we start walking around with stacks full of pardons.
I'm just wondering, would we need one each?
Well, you tell me.
I say we give it a shot. We can always burn them if they don't work out.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Well, how it's going to work is you're going to roll now, and then whoever you present it to will make the counter roll based on what your roll is now. So you won't know how good it is until you present it and get the reaction.
Well, I'm willing to do the writing.
Okay.
What would you have me roll?
Well, I guess. Ooh. Presence, I would assume. Although you said lockpicking earlier, that's kind of a tedious task too. Yeah, we'll say we'll just say presence. So how many copies are you making?
I guess one for each.
Okay.
And I got a 7.
Okay.
Let's just hope that we run into people that don't know Lord Gannison very well.
I
Yeah.
almost want to use my omen to make that better.
Heck yeah.
If you have one that's
You got
suitable.
some that does.
I think Bagel gave a reroll earlier.
Well, that's the one that I had chosen for my omen too. Was reroll.
All right. Well, Bagel
Keep
and
rolling.
Rainfire have now given you a reroll. So, just
Yeah.
if you want to use Bagels,
Alright.
we'll start with Bagels.
Twitch wants to see
Alright.
the mayhem that we can cause with pardons in our pocket.
Pardons with a 7 for a roll. Ooh. Okay.
That's why they want the rerolls.
All right. You're making how many copies? 4? 5? 4?
Oh,
Are we making one for Semper or not?
Yeah, I was thinking one for each 5.
Yeah, 5 then.
Okay. Roll that. Whose is the first one? Whose is this one?
I made my own first.
Okay. Who's next?
Loxan is next.
Okay. Let's see what Loxan gets. Make sure you write this. A fake pardon with, and then write the number on it. Okay.
It's 5.
you wanna
All right.
reroll that, please?
You
please?
you have
please?
Rainfire, a reroll from Rainfire. If you want to.
Yes.
Well, it's up to the
Well-
person rolling the dice, not the person receiving the pardon.
No, I don't think Niana would be very inclined to give Loxan a good part.
Okay. Who's next?
Who was it? Who got the 18?
Nyana.
I did.
Okay. Who got the 7, or was that the reroll?
That was no reroll has been spent on the side. No second reroll has been spent. Who are you rolling for next?
ISO.
Okay. All right. Let's see ISO's roll. All right, you gonna use Rainfire's reroll on that one?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I'll share a book with you.
Okay. Given your observation rule, this looks like
much
an
better.
excellent forgery. Like,
Yeah,
you
this-
have never seen a better forgery than this. You are so impressed at Nyana's
I-
just raw skill.
I kiss
I
it.
probably compared the writing to the previous wrong one I made.
Yeah. If there was a crayon in this particular setting, it would probably look like it was written in crayon. All right, now Jother. Let's see what Jother gets. Ooh. All right. And I'm going to let you keep track of the one for Semper, so go ahead and roll for Semper. Or I guess anybody can, whoever's going to give it to Semper. Okay. You and Jother, everybody else is screwed.
Alright, this,
love
this
it.
is definitely broken because in the dice cup thing, it definitely landed on a 14.
So what happens in the dice thing is it what it lands on, I think. What the dice lands on. Like if it hits the side of the table or something, is the die is cocked, it'll still count whatever it would have landed on, I think. So it might look like a 14, but is it against like a wall?
No, it's like dead on in the middle.
Like the other 14 in the chat, or
No, it's like it's not the +3. The main dice is 14, so it would have been a 17.
oh, I see.
Okay. So I'll take a picture of this and send it to Cedric, because you got the same thing. 2 3 2 3 2 3, like 3 times. I don't know. Maybe he can check his die logic or something.
Just toss some extra bonus rolls and see if they still stick there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
you
if you
can
see
just
this,
do a few more rolls.
Yeah, if you see the
This
same
time
behavior, like
is
looking at
simply
the cup.
very lucky. Oh, sorry, I didn't give it the roll.
Of course.
Ooh, flexing now. I think you unstuck your die. I think you just got unlucky, man.
Yes, yeah, just coincidence, I think.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right,
mean,
so
it got lucky.
fives all the way around except for Jother and Nyana.
Semper was a 7.
But okay, Semper was a 7.
And
Semper
mine was
7.
14, right?
No,
Yeah.
Temper was a 5 as well.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Oh, you might have rolled. Might have rolled to me. I thought that 7 was the first one, but. you
No,
said
they're
that was
all the
first
same.
one. I
That
re-rolled
was-
the 7.
Okay. So whoever's keeping up with that, make sure you keep up with that to give the Semper.
I
Yeah.
got it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I also made note of it.
Well, only one of you, so you only have one pardon to give. Only one of you do it in your inventory.
Oh, I mean, I have the numbers written down for later reference.
Oh well, no.
Yeah,
Everybody
pardon.
keep track of their own. If you lose it, then you somehow lost your pardon.
How can you do that, though?
Very easily. You're riding along and it just slips out.
Not when I put it in the chat already over in this TRPG thing. You just scroll up and get it.
I'll delete it. Y'all got to keep up with something.
Oh, that's so mean.
All right. So, anything else we want to do at camp before you sleep?
Well, are you two reading that book?
Yes, I guess we can read a few pages before we go to sleep.
Okay, so if they're reading that book, I would also pull out the book I'm carrying and just tell them that um, the first town that I encountered with Semper, I came across this book and asked them if they had seen anything like that, and that I couldn't decipher the writing.
I think he was saying that in character, but he said it in an out of character way. Say that in an in character way so they understand. Jothier?
I was just looking up the name of the town again.
Baelmouth?
When I traveled to Baelmouth with Semper, we met a knight, and he didn't give us his name, but he was involved in some very strange things concerning blue lights and half gorged cows. He had a book, um, very odd writings. I couldn't discern it, couldn't read it, not really sure what to make of it. Um, I wanted to see if any of you had seen anything like this before, and if you could perhaps read the writings. But the cover of the book looked very similar to one of the ones that I saw in the keep, the one that I asked about.
Well, I take a look at the book. Is there anything I can tell?
No, it's... You assume it's a language that it's written in. You can't really tell. But you just assume it's some kind of writing, but you've never seen anything like it.
It's just some older, not used language kind of thing.
You have no idea. The book does not look like it's, hundreds of years old or anything like that. But it's... Yeah, I mean... It doesn't... It's not like an ancient artifact relic type book. It's just in a writing that you...
no chance to recognize the language through all the books and other stuff that you might have come across.
You don't recognize any of the writing, symbols, pictures, whatever you want to call them. You don't recognize anything.
I'm sorry, Juffer, but this doesn't say anything to me.
There is a page missing from the book, though. As your other people are looking through it, you do notice a page is missing, has been torn out.
There's a page missing, though. Did you notice that, Joffer?
Not until after I ripped it out. It was a blank page, and we just wrote down the...
Oh, it wasn't blank.
county.
You just said it'd tear out a page.
No, I said I looked for a blank page.
There's no blank pages in it.
You didn't tell me that.
Okay, well, I didn't hear you say blank. To be fair, I just thought you said I'm gonna rip a page out and and do what you did. Well, okay, we'll say this could be a blank page on one of the front or back, maybe. There might be a blank page. But it'll be either at the very front or the very back.
And I wrote down the town name of Helmet because that's where we were heading at the time. I was hoping he would meet us there. I left it in his saddlebag.
He rode in on a horse?
An armored horse. That's why I was particular about the knight that they were mentioning, though it's not the same person.
No, you mentioned you put a book in a saddlebag.
He asked us to retrieve his horse, and that book was in his saddlebag, so he was going to just ride off his own way, but I figured he might be someone who could help us with some of the things that we've seen along the way. So we took the book, we took out a page, we wrote the name of the town that we were heading to warn them about the blue lights and the cow situation that had happened in the previous town. We were hoping that he would see that the book was missing, that the page was there with the name of the town, and that he would come and join us there. But
Oh, I have something very suspiciously terrifying that's going through my mind right now.
that
you
we might
remember
have
the
two
Red
knights looking
Knight?
for us.
No, do you remember the Red Knight?
Yes.
The one that, for some reason, rode into a nearby town, burned the thing down to the ground, killed everyone. We never did ask the name of the town.
In Helmut?
If that is the town that was sacked, then it could very well have been the knight that you gave directions to. Perhaps he was angry when he didn't find you there. But his book is missing.
I think we need to keep an eye out for this knight.
Oh man, I thought you had dug yourself a nice hole for a minute, Jothier.
We don't know that it is Helmut. We have to return to Lord Gennison. So perhaps we could stop at Helmut along the way just to make sure it's not.
I suppose we can. Is it by the coast?
No, you'd have to go out of your way to get to it.
Traveling
Well-
inland might be dangerous.
Just out of character, we're going back to Fort Sephiroth, right?
Yep.
Yeah, by way of the coast is what he told us to do. He said it's a longer route, but the undead might be coming down. Well, he just said they might be further, blocking our path and stuff. And they weren't supposed to be at the coast yet.
I'm just saying that the town might have already been overrun.
Well, the town wasn't too far from Belmouth, and that's on the coast. So we could always follow the coast at least to there.
Yes, surely someone would have news of Helmut if something as terrifying as what was depicted happens to that town, that hamlet.
I'm sure such news would spread fast.
He did seem like a knight who wanted to help, so I don't imagine that he would intentionally burn an entire village down.
Maybe he burned it down because there were undead there. But I guess the only way to truly find out is to go there.
Go where? Sorry, I was sleeping.
We were trying to... Well, we were discussing the Red Knight. I don't know, were you there when we discussed it?
No, this is a different night.
Oh, a different night. Oh, sorry. I misunderstood. Anyways, we were talking about a night Joffer met, and well, I think you can best explain.
When Simper and I had arrived at Belmouth, the first thing that we encountered was cows just severed in half, with at least one half missing. And as we were investigating that, helping the town guard, we encountered a knight that was hiding in some rooms. He claimed to be able to see someone that Semper and I could not see. Said that they were trying to help the people, that they were not responsible for the death that had happened. He seemed pretty harmless. But he did seem like he had a lot more information than he was telling us.
Back up. He sees something that you two can't.
Correct.
Just like I can see Adam and you lot can't. Am I getting that right?
That's what he claimed.
Well, I say we should probably try to find this guy. I mean, personally, it'd be good to have someone who can actually see Adam. Besides me. But we don't know where he is, do we?
No, but I had left him a clue of where I was going. So he may have gone to the town. He may be trying to follow after me.
Then why not head there next?
If it's on the route, we might as well stop there.
Well, Belmouth
Well-
is along the coast, so if we stick to the coast, we'll be able to hit there and, like was suggested, can try and see if they have heard anything about Helmet. Find out if it's safe to try and travel there.
You guys are so eager. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Tragan, you want to go to Balemouth next, right? I have that part right?
Yes.
Well, we would have to pass through that town anyway, right? Just because the coast.
Yeah, you would go by it. That wouldn't be out of the way. The other you can see on the map. You know, following the coast around, you would have to go inland. You can make a path from, you know, Balemouth to Himmel to Severa, but
then we wouldn't be following the coast.
right.
We
But
might
it would
regret-
bypass Ruckwald.
Yes.
I mean, it's a gamble, but
Yeah, they had asked for the people here to send scouts to northern Ruckwald, if I heard it right. So if you look at that could mean like all of that stuff in the middle there between
Well,
Rockwald and
north.
Camp Several, right?
Not necessarily northern Rockwald, just north to Rockwald. If that was, if you heard north, that's what would have been said.
Okay, so they just meant Rockwald in general.
Yes.
I gotcha. Let me go edit that.
They want to investigate the undead, see if they can do anything type thing. All right. Anything else to discuss?
No, I'm fine now.
Not really. Liana is feeling quite sleepy, so time to go to sleep.
All right, Jothier, Lyso.
Yeah, Jothier would tuck the book and the forged papers into his pack and start settling in for the night.
ISO will sit a watch or whatever for a couple hours, then he'll wake someone up next. Since this is like, was just a war zone, and who knows who's wandering around here.